On this week's weekly video fishing forecast, we have our correspondents reporting in from around the island, along with some great summer fluke tips from senior editor Fred Golofaro and porgy tips from our new Long Island managing editor Matt Broderick, all here at thefisherman.com. The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners. I can't believe it's already halfway through summer, and hopefully all of you have your power back and have cleaned up after the storm. The weekend is looking iffy, so let's check in with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olin for the weekend outlook.
All right, thanks, Tim. Hey, anglers, let's check the weekend forecast, and this does not look good at all. All right, we'll show you the screen here, the weather computer, and water temps, 70s, 80s, came up quite a bit, but look at the wave forecast. Saturday, Sunday, it does not look good. 2 to 4s become 4 to 8s and 8 to 12s pretty quickly. Big east-northeasterly breeze coming in with a storm offshore. So there's going to be some rough ocean, rough inlets, and even the sound, 2 to 4 plus here with an easterly breeze. Could be some coastal flooding. And see our futurecast, again, it's not much rain, but that east-northeasterly breeze coming down the pike, really gusty, really rough, unless something changes on the forecast models over the weekend. East-northeast 15 to 30 throughout Sunday and Sunday morning. So not looking very good. I want to show you the Wind Guru, one of my favorite models here. Look at Saturday. Look at this. See the winds there, east on the GFS. You can see it there. And the waves, basically, 2-3 meters. That's about, 4 to 9 feet. So not looking great this weekend for offshore stuff. Probably stay in the bay, stay safe, and, of course, have a great weekend. Make the best of it. Tim, back to you.
Remember, be sure to check out News 12 for the latest weather before heading out on the water. Now, let's hear from Fisherman senior editor Fred Golofaro with a great fluke tip.
Hey folks, the fluke fishing this summer has been really good in the bays. A lot of good action from Jamaica Bay all the way out to Shinnecock Bay. And I'm telling you, one of the keys to the better catches has been going with light tackle. 10-pound test braid, light spinning tackle, and using jig heads anywhere from a half ounce to an ounce. And I'll tell you, it's really made a difference. Nicole Cook, she was out in Shinnecock on the weekend. She limited out with 4 fish, 2 25 inches, a 23 and a 21. Outfished everybody else on the boat. The whole key, that light tackle and a 3/4 ounce jig head with a fish bites. So if you really want to get into some good fluking, drop down to light tackle. Keep your weights down with the 10-pound test and get down to the bottom, no problem. And you'll find you're going to score a lot better this summer.
With our offshore report, let's check in with Captain Tony Gatto.
Thanks, Tim. The storm has come and gone, and for the most part, fishing offshore has picked up right where it has left off, with finally some decent reports trickling in from the tails. Here is Mike and Doug V with some nice fish taken there on a recent overnighter. Also, out in the canyons, more reports of swordfish, wahoo, and blue marlin are coming in. The midshore bite is still solid with bluefin tuna and yellowfin tuna. Teach the next generation lessons that will last a lifetime. My grandfather taught me how to fish, and here is a picture of a future Sharpie whose grandfather took him out on his first tuna trip. This young man is certainly hooked. Justin at Chatter Lures has been checking in with us weekly to let us know what lures and what colors have been working. Justin finally got out of his shop and went fishing for himself. Here's a picture of him with a lime, lemon, also black, purple, and rainbow sidetrack is caught fish for these guys. Justin, thanks for the intel and great job. Back to you, Tim.
Here's a great porgy tip from the new managing editor of The Fisherman, Matt Broderick.
Hi everybody. It's been a productive year for porgies and triggerfish, but this season we're doing something a little different. We've been fishing inlet jetties and rock piles with blackfish jigs and tipping them with baits like clams, squid, or fish bites clam strips. We fish them the same way as a blackfish jig, right along the bottom. One of the neat things about this method is it allows me to scale down my tackum for what I usually use for this type of fishing. Porgies and triggers put up an amazing fight on light tackle, and the simplicity as well as the alternate method of the jig makes things much more interesting. Give it a go and you most definitely won't be disappointed.
Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters has our fly and freshwater report.
Hello, Tim. Well, right now, I'm on the Housatonic. It's been rude too. A bunch of us decided to spend the day up here. I had a terrific day. I must have had over 30 fish. You got to change your flies. You got to find what they wanted. Stump buster was the fly for me. That's what worked. Now, as far as fishing on Long Island, the Connecticut and the Caleb Smith is pretty much your only option for trout right now. Everything else seems a little warm. The ponds are getting a little weedy. Little algae forming on them. So it's really is more freshwater. You really are limited to the 2 parks. As far as saltwater goes, there's still fluke in the back bays. Guys are still catching them. I had some. That was actually pretty good. But what's exciting for me is I love fishing for snappers. My wife and I love fishing for snappers. And they're getting big. In 2 weeks, they're going to be fly rod ready. So unfortunately, this week, I got to take my daughter to college. She's going away. So River Bay Outfitters will be closed Saturday and Sunday. We'll open again on Wednesday. To next week. Tight lines, everybody.
Let's mix things up a bit and go to the North Shore and get some aloha love from Hawaiian Dan.
Thanks, Tim. All right, everybody, say it with me and smile when you do it. Aloha! I'm Hawaiian Dan of the YouTube channel TalkFishTV.com, reporting for the Fisherman magazine here off the central North Shore of Long Island, the inshore, nearshore region where I have to say there's plenty of stripers to be found. That's schoolie stripers, that is. We're fishing today from our Sea Eagle Inflatable Fish Gift 16 from SeaEagle.com. The hatch for this week is microbaits, whitebait, peanut bunker, butterfish, pretty much anything small from about, I'd say, a 1/2 inch to about the 3-inch size. You gotta match that hatch. I did it this week with this little 3/8 ounce bucktail. This is the old Popeye or Buckeye bucktail, depending on which manufacturer you buy it from. It matches the hatch perfectly, cast really close to the structure, target the lights at night, and just walk it along that structure and be ready for the strike. You can catch as many as you want. A great time to get out there and practice your reaction striking, also your accuracy when you're casting and how to get close to structure, almost snagging it but not quite. Instead, you're just catching those fish. If you need any bait or any tackle, I get all my supply from our local bait shop down here. Please get down there and support them. Miller Place Bait and Tackle. Go down there and shout out at Sue, Jim, and Misty. Say hi, tell them Hawaiian Dan sent you, and they'll hook you up with exactly what you need. To see a full detailed episode of my report filled with extra tips, techniques, and strategies, please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel, TalkFishTV.com. It's free. Now get off those couches, grab those rods, grab those kids, and get out there and fish. Remember to make somebody smile today, make somebody laugh, don't take things so seriously. Spread love, not war. Practice your social distancing, mask up, obey the rules, and until next week, this is your favorite man, Hawaiian Dan, signing out. Now back to you, Tim. I love you, Long Island. Aloha.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, everybody. Well, some indulgents aren't really all that boring this year. A lot of crazy catches with these insane water temperatures, some of the hottest on record in the last, I think it's like 25 or 30 years. Heard of quite a few just catches like cobia, you know, a lot of exotic species that kind of made their way that usually aren't this far north. A lot of sharks, more than usual, obviously, that everyone's heard about. Bull sharks a little disturbing, but you know, still cool to see what's going to swim up here. Striped bass off the beach, blues off the beach, there's a few blues, small schoolies on clam bellies, not too much happening. In the bay though, in between Shinnecock and Moriches, there's been some bass feeding on bait in marshy areas, so if you're kind of like throwing spooks and poppers, you know, right to the grass line, might have some luck there. Also some skinny water fluke fishing reported by the Shinnecock Star. They're also clobbering fluke, sea bass, porgies, ling, and triggerfish out on the reefs and some of the wrecks east of Shinnecock Inlet. Offshore, absolutely on fire. Bluefin catches, yellowfin, big eye, the whole bit. This weekend looks a little rough with the weather to get out there, but everyone should be able to put together some kind of a summer catch, and you know, until we see the fall run, which will be here soon enough. So till next week, get out there, catch them up, have fun.
Steigercraft builds boats by the same people that fish our waters. That's why serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you. From the Fire Island Inlet area and the Great South Bay, let's check in with Captain Al Lorenzetti.
Hey Tim, Fire Island report. Still pretty consistent fishing, as long as the weather cooperates, but looks like this weekends are going to be really tough. Friday's a fishable day, certainly inshore and even offshore, but then Saturday and Sunday, hold on to your hat. It's going to blow and rain. It's going to be really nasty. So I think the weekend is pretty much shot. Been pretty consistent fluke fishing. You know, you can probably catch in a half a day, yeah, maybe 10 to 15 fish, 2 or 3 keepers in it, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. Bottom fishing is good, and if you can get offshore, the tuna fishing is fantastic. Also heard a lot of bonita showed up, the green bonita, true bonita, around the Fire Island Reef, so we may get them even coming inside, so make sure you got light spinning gear, a little tiny cripple herring, and light fluorocarbon leader, and hook up with these fish. They're a lot of fun. That's about it for this week, Tim. Take care. Talk to you next week.
Let's get the latest from Captree and Jones Beach with Matt Bauer.
Hey Tim, it's Matt Bauer. I'll be doing the report for Jones Beach and Captree Bait and Tackle for this week. So starting out with Jones, in the inlet there's been cocktail blues and Spanish mackerel on incoming water. Small tins seem to be working best for them, and they really like the much cleaner water for the Spanish mackerel. So deeper in the inlet, off the piers, and just around the bay, there's been a short fluke being caught, and also small snappers, but they're getting bigger every single day. So for Captree Bait and Tackle, same sort of thing off the piers with snappers and fluke, but there's also been some kingfish and blowfish coming up on clams. But from the surf, there's been tons of sharks being caught. I caught this pretty decent sized dusky shark as a bycatch the other day. Also, very rare catch for Long Island. Brian Spreckles caught this 27-pound cobia on a bunker chunk. So there's been all these crazy tropical visitors, I guess you could call them, so you really never know what you're going to catch nowadays on Long Island.
From the Jones Beach Inlet area, we have Roger Boodoo.
Hey Tim, how's it going? Reporting for the Jones Beach, Jones Inlet area here, and I'm happy to report that the sea bass bite has still been really consistent in the deeper waters towards 80-90 feet. As long as you can find some structure, you're going to hook up with some nice sea bass. In addition to the sea bass, mackerel are also consistent in the area, and what's interesting is that the water temperatures are starting to drop because we can pick up some nice sea bass even in the inshore reefs. We had a keeper right by Hempstead, and you know, some mackerel in the area too. Also encouraging to report is that the porgy bite is definitely starting to pick up in the deep water and in the inshore reef. So we had some nice porgies in the 80-90 foot range, and we also had some keepers over the Hempstead Reef. As long as you're using clam bellies on a high-low rig, you'll definitely pick up with some porgies. So I mean, if you got a moving tide, that's always going to be better, but if it slacks up, hey, you could still catch some fish. So that's about all that we have to report for this week for the area. You know, get out there, guys, tight lines, catch them up. Tim, back to you.
To the west, let's check in with Captain Mike Sentry that has some more offshore reports.
Thanks, Tim and Fred. Captain Mike MG here. This weekend was a very good yellowfin run, guys. Headed off to a good spot in 75-degree water, and once we got there, it was game on. The yellowfin tuna ranged from the high 50s to this 85-pound brute. Myself and my friend Joe had a blast as I saw his expression on his first big yellowfin tuna. We managed to see a couple of friends out there who were also hooking up. Dan Rosetto and his friends were throwing down some pipe, and they were hooking up very successfully with the yellowfin tuna. The pipe that I'm talking about are little 4-inch top water plugs. No bigger than that. You can use yellow, you can use white, you can use pink. Don't matter, as long as it's a little bit small. On the other note, Pete Horopisa also hammered his way with his team at the yellowfin. These yellowfins were caught trolling, jigging, and top water surface plugs. On the way in, the seas became tough to navigate as the south wind against current caused a condition known as a confused sea. Well, folks, keep up the faith, study your target pelagic species, and tight lines. Captain Mike MG.
Chris Ludwig has been working the beach for those sharks. Chris, give us the details.
Hey, thanks, Tim. What's going on, guys? So this last week, my buddy Bobby and I have been hitting the surf about an hour after the incoming tide, just following it all along the reef. We've been catching a lot of those brown sharks. They have been everywhere. We're slinging big bunker chunks out into the surf, and we're catching them on these guys. These are the 16 or 18-0 circle hooks. These are the mustads. and we have 400-pound extra hard mono on there. I mean, if you don't do this, you're just going to keep losing your tackle. So it is what it is. But other than that, this morning we were out here and we had a big bullnose ray so far, and we had 2 runoffs that we dropped that I assume were brown sharks. There's a lot of life out here, and I suggest you get out there. Other than that, I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Take care and see you out there.
From Sheepshead Bay, we have Luke Feeney.
Thank you, Tim. Hey folks, hope everybody is doing well and has recovered from that hurricane that hit us mid last week. Unfortunately, the hurricane did not only take a toll on some people's power, it also did take a great toll on the fishing in this general area. I went out a couple of days in the days that followed after the storm because the weather was calm, but multiple times I was met with poor drift conditions and a lot of fresh water floating around out there, and the fishing was very poor. I actually went to the McAllister grounds 2 days after the storm and did not have a single bite for the fluke. But the good news is that in the past week, the fishing has begun to recover. A lot of the areas in the bay that were hot with short fluke and some nicer fluke in the mix have cooled down a little bit after that storm, as well as the McAllister grounds and the AB Reef. But I have been hearing very good reports from the Sandy Hook Channel, southeast of the Romer Shoal Lighthouse, and people have been catching a lot of short fluke there with some nicer fluke in the mix. So definitely get out there and hit those spots that were doing well before the storm, because almost a week after that storm, they should be starting to recover right about now. The good news is that the porgy bite did not suffer too much from that storm. I have heard many reports of people starting to catch a lot of porgies on the tin can grounds once again, using clam, and even some people using jigs. They've been targeting nicer porgies that way. But the good news is that the porgies are back, so you can get out there anytime and catch a cooler full of porgies to feed the family. Great eating and a lot of fun to catch, especially on a light tackle. The good news is that the bass run up in the harbor has also been very good. I've been hearing a lot of reports, especially from the Karen Ann, Captain Vinny on the Karen Ann. He's been catching a lot of bass chunking up there in the river along with the Hunter. They've been fishing up there as well. You have to get on specific spots up by the Statue of Liberty in that area where there's specific drop-offs, but once you find the fish and use those chunks, it's really game on for the entire day or the entire tide while you're there. But that's it for this week. The fishing has been quite slow since the storm, but it is starting to pick up, which is very good news. So make sure, the only way to know how it is just to get out there and try it. So stay safe.
Remember, like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. And of course, be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Kayak Clash contest and win this Old Town Autopilot kayak worth over $4,000, like New England Fisherman subscriber Scott Schneider did last week by weighing in this 20.5-inch blackfish. Check out this video's description on YouTube for all the related links and more information. And please support our correspondents by visiting their websites and social media pages. Hopefully the weather won't be as bad as predicted and you can get out there and fish. See you next week right here at thefisherman.com.